What's cracking, everybody, and welcome to episode 252 of the Good Kraken podcast. I'm one of your hosts tonight, Arnell Pearson, alongside the invisible man, Devin Brevin, the dude. Your lighting looks extravagant tonight. This looks great.
Thank you.
This is awesome. This looks awesome. It matches well with your plaid shirt. It's going good. How's your week going this week, Devin?
Cracktober and Rocktober has been underway. We were just talking about all these bands I've been working with and seeing lately before the show started. And there's a lot more to come, I can tell you that much. Also, guys, I rolled credits on Dead Space Remake today.
Ah, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great game. Great game. That honestly, that remake is a 9 out of 10 survival horror game.
Okay.
It is gorgeous. It has some of the best volumetric lighting or ray tracing. I played on the volumetric lighting mode with because I wanted to play performance. I wanted that FPS and stuff like that.
Of course.
But that is one of the most beautiful looking horror games and disgusting at the same time. It is so great.
How was the ending in terms of Isaac being a speaking character and stuff now?
Oh, it was awesome. It was
was it even more dope than the original?
Yes. There is so much more context to what goes on. Because I came across an article a while ago, and I cannot remember which site or source it was from, but it essentially it talked about how much more context this game puts in going into 2 and 3. And when they originally made Dead Space, they didn't even think there was going to be a sequel, right?
Right.
So they changed a few things, tweaked the story a little bit to make it more in line with the sequels. So I'm really hoping that we get, some ray tracing remaster or remake of 2 here, within the next year or two. I'm really hoping that comes now because I've loved my experience. I started New Game Plus already. What's really cool that I found out about the game, I didn't even know until today when I beat it, is that they changed the story on your New Game Plus.
Oh, really?
They do that. Yeah,
really?
Just a little bit. They add stuff to it,
Okay.
So I think I might play through it. I'm undecided though, because since it's Cracktober, I'm trying to go through some other horror games, and I decided to pick up my playthrough on Last of Us Part 2.
Very nice. Yeah, I gotta get that finished up.
Yep. I just cleared out the TV station.
Ah, very nice. You're making some progress. You're not deep yet, but you're getting there. There.
Yeah. I'm gonna play it after the cast tonight, probably, unless you guys want to play games. But yeah, doing good.
Well, good, my friend. I am very glad. On the other hand, we have someone who's not very glad right now. It is the broken man, my poor fucking fellow over here, Garrick Bartholomew Eaton. Please rise, good sir.
The ill one.
Garrick, it's the last we heard. You got the new, the no.
Pneumonia.
Pneumonia. NU monia, right?
Yeah, it's like it's like the exactly. And I am in fact down with the sickness.
How are you healing from your new corn disease?
Dude, it fucking feels really slow and shitty, if I'm being completely honest. Like
Slow and shitty. That sounds like corn. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I'm on I think I'm on day 8 out of 10 on these fucking antibiotics they have me on, dude. And the doctor's just like, you'll probably feel physically better by the time you're all said and done. He's like, but you're gonna have this cough for several weeks, maybe even a month or more. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And I'm literally trying to fight it right now as I'm trying to finish the sentence. And it's great. It's awesome. It's incredible.
Boy, that's okay.
And they gave me this fucking cough medicine that I'm pretty sure it doesn't work. Every time I have taken it, I have felt no different at all. And dude, I don't know if y'all know, but when you have pneumonia, you don't sleep very great because, well, if you can't like breathe and shit, it's like it's why it's an issue, right?
He's
And
wheezing.
yes, literally. And so it's just been a big struggle, dude. And so like I'm still going to work and stuff, and so I'm not resting, so I'm not like getting better. And like the biggest part is like I'm running around school all day, dude, and then I literally like close myself in my office and just sit and just try to breathe for like an hour until I get called out on some bullshit again. So yeah, but fall break starts here in a couple of days.
Yeah.
I'm going to sleep
Yeah.
for 4 days.
Good for you, man. Yeah,
Do
you
it.
gotta get that in, dude. Like, because I'm assuming that you're not getting enough sleep regularly because you're still keeping yourself up at night. I'm assuming. Yeah.
I'm trying to get to bed at a decent time, but my sleep's been pretty frequently like interrupted, or like I'll wake up and like have like a coughing fit or like whatever, and then like I have to get back to sleep, or I'll have to wake up and like drink a bunch of water because I just can't breathe, dude. And like I'll literally like wake up in the middle of the night and it'll sound like I'm breathing through like silly putty, like it's just so crackly and
Silly putty.
dude, it's awful. It really
Yeah,
does suck.
yeah.
Like it feels like it just feels like there's like a weight like in the dead center of my chest, but it's like only in like one little area. And if I cough too much, I can like feel my left lung start to hurt. Dude, it's just not good. It's just not good. Don't get sick. And if you do
Just
get sick,
get rid
do
of that
yourself a
lung.
fucking favor and like don't put off going to the doctor for a whole month because it makes it worse.
It does do
So-
that. Yeah, that is proven. That is proven theory.
So yeah,
Well,
In
Garrick,
fact, healthcare is good for you.
yes, it is.
if you can if you can afford it.
Yeah, 100%.
Well,
if you can,
this
then-
is America.
yeah, right. I know. Devin, your hand was up earlier.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
I think I was just scratching my chin.
No, your hand was up. But you probably forgot what you were gonna say. It was a while back. It was a while ago. It was actually 3 episodes ago. I'm preferring to.
That checks out.
Yeah,
That checks
you know what I'm saying.
That
well,
whole
Garrick-
conversation made me lightheaded. That's fucking dumb.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Well, I am glad that you're cowboying the fuck up and being here anyways. Dude, I hope at least when we get done, you can just go to bed. Just go to bed.
That's immediately what I'm doing. I'm literally like the second the episode ends, I'm going the fuck to sleep.
Go the fuck to
And I'm-
sleep.
Are you
And
gonna
I'm
read
yeah,
Samuel L.
I'm-
Jackson's
and I'm gonna have
narrated?
Samuel L. Jackson read it to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, go the fuck to sleep. But not you guys
Go
at
the
home,
fuck
not
to
yet
sleep.
at least, because first we got to talk about Diablo 4 on Game Pass one day. Maybe. Big news about a smaller PlayStation, and what if we made a horror game, and much, much more, because this is the Good Kraken Podcast, your choice for all the nerdy video game and pop media news, reviews, and discussions that you want to hear, live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Feels good, man. If you're riding this wave, you can head on over to our Discord channel where you can submit questions and topics to the show, get exclusive content, and soon have early access episodes before they go live on podcasts and video services across the digital sea. Actually, I'm not yarging right now.
That's fair, dude.
gonna
I got some congestion shit going on too, dude. I don't blame him.
I got some congestion shit going on.
Dude, some constipated shit.
But if you've emptied your pockets for the latest and greatest in entertainment, that is totally fine. You can watch us record this episode and the rest of the show live right here at twitch.tv/GoodKrakenShow. If you have Amazon Prime, you also have Twitch Prime. DJ Devin.
DJ Devin. All right.
Prime Gaming.
Thank you, good sir. And we would love for you to give that to us to help keep us pushing content out for all of you that are listening or watching at home. But you can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, clicking that beautiful bell and big red button, or by subscribing to our podcast channel by searching Good Kraken with an exclamation mark and leaving a review there.
Review.
Garrick,
What?
we have some captain's orders, my friend. Guys, please check out our brand spanking new episode of the Good Kraken podcast, our spoiler-free review of Ahsoka. Is officially out. You can catch that on YouTube and your podcast service of choice. We got actually a really, really good conversation about Ahsoka between me, Devin, and DJ on Saturday, and you guys do not want to miss that part because it was actually pretty damn good convo that we had. We covered all the bases and got a chance to talk about like all the interesting parts for sure that we want more of coming in the future of Ahsoka. Because there's a lot. There's a lot that we want more of in the future. Oh,
We even dived into some theories too, which was pretty fun.
Well, Devin did, and then we had a Carrie suit because that's how Devin functions as a fan.
I wish you were there, Garrick, because you would have dived in on that.
Yeah, I was really upset. Like, I literally, when Raven was just like, I'm showing up for the meeting, I was just like, fuck, I forgot to write my Ahsoka review.
Oh,
I was very sad about it, dude, because like I was so into it. At the end, I was literally watching the episode before the podcast.
Yeah, good man.
Yeah,
Good man.
it's so it was just so good.
I thoroughly enjoyed this shit out of
it. It's the most Star Wars thing we've gotten in a very, very, very long time.
because Dave Filoni is just a fucking fan. And
Yep.
all of the Star Wars lore he knows was given to him by George Lucas.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, man. It's a beautiful moment in time. But what's also beautiful is you potentially following us on all of our social media sites at Good Kraken Show. You guys can follow us on Twitter. We have an Instagram. We have a TikTok. We are even on Facebook. You can even hang out with us on Discord. But we are on there, and that includes us talking this week specifically about giving you guys some 1v1 opinions on horror movie characters that you guys think would be giving it to each other to prepare us for Saturday, where we're going to be doing our 16-piece bracket of the best horror baddies fighting off against each other. We're going to decide who is the best of the best of all the horror bad guys. And boy, I'm excited for that one. That's going to be fun. It's gonna be a fun episode. I cannot wait to hear about how Gizmo from Gremlins is going to beat all of them.
Did we end up putting Gizmo on the list?
No, but I like to pretend that we did.
I mean, I remember us like kind of talking about it.
As a joke mainly, but
I mean, like, you could have put, like, the Gremlins on there as a whole.
True.
there's reasons that it wouldn't have worked.
I'm sure.
Which we'll be talking about. But I like to think that Leprechaun from the hit movie Leprechaun in the Hood specifically would have gone at least the third round. At least the third round on the bracket.
Leprechaun from the Hood. That's a shiesty fellow. We should have done Pooh Bear from Blood and Honey.
Jesus Christ.
You know they
Have
eat
y'all seen
Eeyore.
that shit?
They eat Eeyore.
I hate that. I hate that so much. Speaking of eating, Devin, let's eat for the people at home. What are we doing next, my friend?
Guys, it's time to go to the helm.
Guys, we have a couple news stories here for all of you at home. Firstly, starting with Activision Blizzard's latest games will start arriving on Xbox Game Pass in 2024 if the Microsoft deal closes. This comes from Tom Warren over at The Verge, and he says Activision Blizzard says it will start adding games to Xbox Game Pass next year if the Microsoft deal closes. Microsoft is currently targeting to close its proposed Activision Blizzard deal on Friday, pending approval from a UK regulator. In a strangely timed and vague post on X, formerly Twitter, Activision Blizzard makes it clear to Xbox fans that both Modern Warfare 3 and Diablo 4 won't be a part of Xbox Game Pass in 2023. Quote, while we do not have plans to put Modern Warfare 3 or Diablo 4 into Game Pass this year, once the deal closes, we expect to start working with Xbox to bring our titles to more players around the world, says the statement from ActiBliz. And we anticipate that we would begin adding games into Game Pass sometime in the course of next year, end quote. The statement mentions Xbox fan questions around, quote, whether our upcoming and recently launched games, emphasis ours, will be available via Game Pass, end quote, but it doesn't address the many existing Activision Blizzard games that were launched years ago and could be added to Game Pass sooner. Activision has a huge back catalog of existing Call of Duty games that many expect will be a part of Xbox Game Pass. Microsoft went out of its way to fix classic Xbox 360 Call of Duty titles in July, just ahead of the original deal deadline, after players have been complaining for years about not being able to matchmake in games like Call of Duty Black Ops and the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It can't be pure coincidence that these Call of Duty games were suddenly fixed just as Microsoft was preparing for the final stages of its proposed ActiBliz acquisition. Either way, it's clear we won't see recent Activision Blizzard releases on Xbox Game Pass this year, providing Microsoft's deal closes before the October 18th deadline. Activision Blizzard still has an exclusive marketing deal with Sony for Call of Duty 2. That's 2 as in TOO, by the way, for our listeners at home. The Competition and Markets Authority, CMA, previously said that new versions of Call of Duty wouldn't arrive on Xbox Game Pass until 2025 because of Sony's deal, but it's not clear exactly when that exclusivity ends now that Microsoft and Sony signed a fresh 10-year Call of Duty deal recently. My man, Devin, let us go to you first, my friend. Do you see
Guys,
Do you see this? Is this happening next year? Do you feel it?
Yes, 100%. A lot of sources, including people like Destin Laguerre from IGN, have been talking about, especially him. He has been analyzing this case since day one, like super closely.
Yeah.
This deal's supposedly supposed to close this Friday on the 13th.
Yes.
Which, thank fucking God, can we get this over with already, right?
We've been waiting a while, yeah.
Yeah. Just angry people, angry about money, and Jim Ryan's stepping down now.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Crazy how that works, right? But I'm really excited to see what we can get. There is a huge catalog of Activision games that we could get, and whether it just be games being added to Game Pass or new IPs being started, I would love to see Prototype get added to Game Pass. Do you guys remember Prototype?
Of course we remember Prototype.
Dude,
One of the best fucking action-adventure games ever, dude.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, I regularly revisit that game for shits and giggles. The power fantasy in that game is incredible.
That was our Spider-Man game before we had like a real Spider-Man.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
Prototype 2. Prototype 2 was so fucking
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They should bring that IP back. Imagine that coming back as like a Xbox Game Pass
Prototype
exclusive.
3 on an
They just
Xbox
need to
Series, dude.
They just
Oh
need
my
to
God.
remake that
Just
shit
PC
at this point.
Yeah, just remake it. I don't care. We're thriving in the land of remakes right now. I just finished Dead Space remake today. Fucking great. The Resident Evil remakes have been fucking great. Final Fantasy VII remake, fucking great, right?
Dude, Last of Us Part 2 remastered's coming out soon. Oh my God.
We don't need that. I'm literally playing it right now
But
on
it'll be
pure
great.
PS4 Pro,
And it looks
amazing.
amazing. It looks fucking amazing. right?
It does get a little choppy at sometimes. If just like sometimes, I just wish there was like an actual performance mode built into it. But it does get like
Well,
it,
to
like
be fair, it is a decade
It's a
old,
pro, right?
a console that's
the Scorpio edition had performance modes of games. It did 60 FPS no problem on a lot, but it was superior hardware back then.
of course.
But again, we don't need a Last of Us Part 2 remake. Fucking stop. Just focus on your multiplayer game that they're acting like that's dead in the water.
Anyways, though, but as far as as us potentially getting Diablo 4 and
I think it'll happen.
or Call of Duty? Like, do you see them just doing that next year? Like, we can potentially get that to happen?
Diablo 4, I think is more likely than Call of Duty, to be fair. Call of Duty is a live service game. They already have a free way to play Call of Duty with the Warzone, you know. I do see legacy titles of Call of Duty coming to Game Pass, no problem. But we still don't know the ins and outs of this 10-year deal that was just made with Sony for the mainline Call of Duty games.
Sure.
So that could have some hindrance to Game Pass because we know that there are some people involved in making that deal that don't like Game Pass, you know. So I think Diablo 4 is more likely of a case to come on that. But guys, we could get Guitar Hero to come back on Game Pass. Imagine Guitar Hero Game Pass, and all you have to do is just have a guitar. You just buy a guitar.
Imagine
start
hooking that
manufacturing
up to an
guitars.
Xbox Series. Like, Jesus, man.
Dude, I don't care, dude. Like, I want to play Guitar Hero. You know.
That's fair. That's fair. I got you.
Um,
Garrick,
yeah.
I want to ask you, since we're kind of still circling around the subject here. Devin says that there's a good chance that we'll get Diablo 4 next year, and or Call of Duty. I want to ask you, do you think that is a good call?
I don't know. I think it's just whether or not it's a good call is like the wrong way to look at it because I feel like it's inevitable, right?
Okay.
So it's something that they're gonna do, and I definitely am in agreement with Devin that like legacy titles will absolutely be the first thing that they add. I'm also in agreement with I feel like Diablo 4 will come to Game Pass pretty quick, but the people seem to forget that Diablo as a franchise has another active title right now that has a steady player base that could benefit from something like Game Pass, and that's Diablo 2 Resurrection,
Sure.
which I actually think would be one of the very, very first things they add, because like it has seasonal content, but it doesn't function as live service where it requires a seasonal like purchase of a battle pass, so it would fit really neatly into the already existing catalogs of Game Pass. Whereas Diablo 4 is like you have to buy the game and it also features like that live subscription. One thing that I think is going to be really curious about this, right, is if this deal is closing, right? We just experienced like a $2 price hike across the board for Game Pass, right? And like on all of their models that they currently offer. And if we get like a more dense, more popular catalog that's going to start to feature some of these other titles like Call of Duty, which is like insanely popular, right? Like even legacy titles, like a lot of individuals like yourself or Nell will absolutely come back and play these older games just for the ability to revisit the campaign,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
Right, especially if they jump on like their most popular titles first, like the original Modern Warfare, dude. Like if OG Modern Warfare remastered makes it to Game Pass, like they're making money. That's
Yeah.
still like one of the most popular like thing. My concern with it from a consumer standpoint is like, are we gonna see another price hike if this deal goes through and this does get put into the catalog sometime next year, right? Like, I don't want to be paying $25 for Game Pass like 5 years from now, just because like cool games are on it, right? Because at that point, like now we're entering the realm of like, do I really want to pay like potentially, like theoretically, like $25, like at the price of an indie game every single month, just to access like all of these games, which is great on the consumer player base, but like I know there's going to be a lot of individuals, and there are a lot of individuals that like I don't give a shit about Call of Duty, so like I would feel kind of, I'd feel kind of put out, I guess, if like I as a consumer like just had to pay like more money potentially because the catalog is like now adding games that I have no interest in playing.
Sure. That's
I
fair.
think
But
that
so I don't know. I think it's just very curious as to like how this will impact Game Pass in the future, because it's like an inevitability, right? And I want to know. I guess what will really be the kicker, right? Is we have Modern Warfare 3 releasing. Will Call of Duty be a Game Pass day one title? Down the road
Mhm.
is like one of those things to consider, right? Because Game Pass, like, they need to make Game Pass sustainable. Like that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to make it a sustainable thing. Because right now it's a great thing for consumers, but as far as Xbox is on the business end, right? Like they're gonna have a hard time maintaining their catalog 5 years from now at the price that they have. So, Devin, did you have a comment?
Do you think they will do some? And I know you're not a Call of Duty player, but do you think they'll do something similar to like what they did with Halo, where there could be like the multiplayer included with Game Pass, but if you want the campaign, you have to pay like $30 or something like that?
I could absolutely see that, right? Because like Game Pass already does do like an integrated sort of like, if you're a member, you get to do these upgrades for like a much cheaper
Hmm.
experience, right? They give you the
Starfield.
opportunity to buy, yeah, exactly. Like you can buy like Starfield, like you can buy the deluxe edition and just play the deluxe edition via Game Pass without paying, the $80, right? Crappy example, but same thing like Redfall, another first person title, you could buy the buyback edition upgrade for $30 rather than paying like the initial $70 price
Hmm.
or whatever. And I think that's a really good model. I feel like if they can find a way to make sense, they would have to find a way to balance the content. And I think if they were to do something like that, they would really have to make sure the campaigns were worth the players' money, because
Hmm.
most people are playing for the longevity of the multiplayer and not that first time experience of the campaign.
I will say, the campaigns usually are worth the money. I will say that, surprisingly. Um,
I don't know.
like
I don't
like
know.
if you were to narrow it down to like a $20-$30 purchase, then yes, I
Oh,
would say so.
for sure. Yeah, if it
Yeah,
was that.
yeah.
But for someone like me who exclusively plays the campaign, I can only justify spending $70 on that campaign for so long. You know what I mean? Which is
Right.
why
I mean,
this
But if you had Game Pass, would you spend 30 to access the, like, would that be a
absolutely,
worthwhile purchase for
absolutely,
you?
yes, and that's what I
Okay.
was gonna say is that like that actually helps someone like me a lot
Right.
more, because that makes that seem a little bit more justifyingly accessible to me. And I think, all around, like generally speaking, this is obviously like a really, really great thing. But I do obviously understand your concern in which Game Pass increasing its dollar amount. We're living in a world now where Netflix is about to be, or just turned, like
20
almost,
bucks. Yeah.
yeah, like
We're
like
right
yeah,
there, man. Like
gross,
inflation's a bitch right now,
gross.
and it's hitting everything.
Yeah,
Disney
we
Plus
are.
increased it too. Like it just,
This shit, Netflix used to be $9.99, y'all.
Yeah. No, no. Netflix used to be $7.99.
well, he's not
Netflix
at
Yeah.
Disney.
was
He's not at
Yeah.
Disney, but yes, yeah. Yeah.
Netflix was $7.99 when it started. $7.99.
So like
Not including tax.
I can see like the concern there, because it's like Game Pass is like the best, we've said it many times, is like the best deal in gaming, period, point blank, period, right? And there's no arguing that.
It's Netflix for games. Like it literally,
Right.
and the thing is about what makes Game Pass so important. It's the same reason that Steam is important. It got the opportunity to do that shit first,
Right.
right? And so like it's got this potential for staying power, but like at what cost? Literally.
I think, let's say we live in a world, realistically, someday, Game Pass is probably going to be $20 a month within the next few years, right?
It's 18 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
right.
yeah, it's going to be $20 a month. If they can hit the promise where they are coming out with at least one first party game a month that is worth a damn, don't you think that is actually worth it? Because that is essentially cheaper than buying a
I think
brand
I'd
new
probably
70.
accept quarterly, like if we can get like one first person IP quarterly,
Yeah,
I'd probably.
that's what they're
That
promising
seems
right
like,
now.
yeah.
That's what they're promising right now. But I think with
Is it?
having, yeah, that's what they're promising right
Oh,
now. I mean, we have Forza. That's the next first party
that's
game
true.
that's
Yeah,
coming
motorsport.
out. And those games, whether you like racing games or not, those games always do
Oh yeah, they're
really well.
popular.
Yeah.
So
Um,
maybe double that then. Like if we're
yeah.
talking like if we're factoring price increase,
Like every
like
other
I would
month.
like yeah every other month or like like two or
Hmm.
three like in a quarter. Like I'd probably be fairly happy with that,
Hmm.
especially if like we're getting completed projects, but I like not the wonky experiences we got with like the weird launch for Halo Infinite and
Yeah,
Redfall, right? Like
I
they
agree.
got to make sure like everything has to be a Starfield release.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
And Starfield has its quirks and stuff like that. But the good thing about gaming nowadays is as long as they come out to a finished product like Starfield, at the very least, there's always room for that to get better
Mhm.
for free. And I think that's what Game Pass is kind of helping do. I think it's just been a rocky road, and it's been hard for some people to see how that can work because they've been making these acquisitions and purchases of studios and all that, which has kind of forced them to put things out which they have admitted to, you know, at certain points. And I think we finally got to a point where they figured out how to catch up with all of that and Game Pass at the same time. I think that's what we're working towards. And I think um, I just went to Wikipedia and looked at the catalog that Activision has. Guys, we're talking like hundreds and hundreds of games that could be added on top of what's already there. Like, you are going to have an insane catalog
Games
of
you forgot about.
games. Exactly. Like, I was going through all the Spider-Man games that they used to make are probably not going to happen. Let's be real, Sony isn't going to let that happen. But like, there's a bunch of Transformers games that were actually really fun. All the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, the Guitar Hero games. There's other Marvel games. They did a bunch of like X-Men games and
Hmm.
Deadpool. They did Chivalry, um, like Ghostbusters games, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2.
Good game.
Like,
Good game.
yeah, like, I'm just looking at this list and I'm seeing the possibility for some really good content to
You want to
be
know what
right in front of us.
my dream of all dreams for like what would be like from this acquisition? Like
Hmm.
it'll never. It will. I understand. Like this is literally some tinfoil hat. This will never happen. I need everybody under.
Okay. Sure.
This will never
Sure.
happen.
Okay.
But God, how amazing would it be if like included in your subscription of Xbox Game Pass, you got like a monthly sub to World of Warcraft? I'd come back.
That could happen, or at the very least give you like
Or
a
WoW Classic
really
even.
or like a really hefty discount to it. That could very much happen. I mean, PC Game Pass and console Game Pass do have different catalogs already.
Yeah,
And
they
I think
do.
that is very, very, very much possible. We already know that Final Fantasy 14 is going to be coming. We know that.
Oh,
They
that's
announced it.
true.
Yeah. So
Oh,
that's going to
maybe
be part
maybe
of
that
Game
is on the
Pass.
table there. That'd be kind of
Yeah.
interesting,
I I
right?
th- I think I think that is very, very much possible. Um but yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. I think I'm putting my money on it. I think one of the very first games we're going to see the very first two games, Garrick already mentioned, Diablo 2,
Mhm.
Resurrection, and Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. I think those are going to be two first games that they put on Game
Ooh,
Pass for
yeah,
Activision.
probably, dude.
Yeah,
Why do you think Sekiro?
because it was a game of the year winning game, and it's very coveted, and we know Phil Spencer loves that game.
Yeah, but in relation to
Because of the Soulsborne hype. It's one of the biggest genres right now.
Yeah, gives them more
Hmm.
Soulsborne on their platform,
They just had Liza P launch
which
day
is
one
doing
on Game
great.
Pass, and it,
yeah.
it was reviewed really well, and most people played it through Game Pass on PC and Xbox. So I think they would follow that up to keep that user base there by putting Sekiro on there.
Okay. Okay. I guess I asked because I was a little surprised that Sekiro of all the Soulsborne games was the one that you picked for being that.
It's because it was published by Activision.
Sure. Sure. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Fair.
I can see it. I can see it. Devin, let's go into our next story, my friend. Take it away, my good sir.
Absolutely. Guys, Sony finally unveils a smaller, redesigned PS5 models and a price hike. Well, kind of price hike. Kind of.
It's $50 price hike, you know.
Only on the digital edition. Kind of. Yeah. This is coming by Michael McWhirter over at Polygon. Sony Interactive Entertainment is revamping the look of the PS5 this November with a smaller, lighter version of the console. In addition to a slimmer form factor, SIE also revealed the Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive add-on for the PS5 Digital Edition. The console without a built-in Blu-ray drive. Sony's new slimmed-down PS5 model has been reduced in volume by more than 30% and weight by 18% and 24% compared to previous models, according to the company. The notoriously tall PS5 is now slightly shorter by 33 millimeters, and that comes out to about 1.25 inches, and slightly narrower by 44 millimeters by 1.73 inches. In terms of weight, the revised standard PS5 model is losing 1.3 kilograms, about 3 pounds. Sony released updated dimensions and specifications for the new models, which you can read through below, and I will read that for you guys. There's no change in price for the standard PS5 model. The redesigned PS5 will launch next month for $499.99 USD. But the PS5 Digital Edition is getting a price increase as part of the refresh. The disc-less version of the PS5 will cost $449.99 at launch. The original PS5 Digital Edition launched at $399 back in 2020. And here is a pricing breakdown in the US, Europe, UK, and Japan regions. With the US, as aforementioned, we have the PS5 with Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive at $499.99 and the digital at $449.99. In Europe, the disc drive version will be €549.99, and the digital edition will be €449.99. And let's see. Excuse me, that was the UK. No, the next one's the UK edition. Sorry, the spacing on this was a little weird. The UK edition is going to be $549.99 and digital $449. And then in I got lost.
It's weirdly spaced, so
Yeah, $479.99
Yeah, it is weirdly
and
spaced.
$389.99 in the UK. And in Japan, the disc drive version will be 66,980 yen, includes tax, and the digital edition will be 59,980 yen, including tax. PlayStation fans who opt for the PS5 Digital Edition can purchase the Ultra HD Blu-ray drive separately for $79.99 USD or 120 in the UK, 99 in Europe, or 11,980 yen. Numbers, man, numbers. That add-on drive is only compatible with the new model of the PS5 Digital Edition, a Sony representative confirmed to Polygon. Now, the new PS5 models will be available in November in the US at select retailers and through Sony's PlayStation Direct website. A global rollout is coming in the following months, Sony said. One thing that I thought that was interesting that they did not include in this, on the digital edition, the base digital edition model, it actually only has like 840 gigabytes, but they upped it to 1 terabyte fully for the storage capacity for the digital edition. So I think that price increase kind of has a little bit of a warrant in a way, but at the same time, yeah,
Well,
there's more available memory.
I don't know about that because the original one was marketed as 1 terabyte, but it's 880 after all the software stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now they're marketing it as a true 1 terabyte software.
Sure, which is
And I saw that.
one more game. So like I'm not like
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but still, for people who have slower download speeds, that could make all the difference.
Sure.
And I saw that through IGN's article posting
Right.
about this when I was reading it. So
I am a little appalled by this. Now here's why, right?
Dude,
Here's why. Because
I'm so glad you said that. I think this is ridiculous.
I think that this is nutty. This is fucking nutty. For a few different reasons. One, cool. We have a PS5 Slim. Awesome. That's great. We have a PS5 Slim at the same price as a PS5. which is unprecedented, right? Because like the PlayStation Slim models were historically cheaper, more affordable, easier to access, easier to carry around, easier to fit in your stuff. You're sacrificing some hardware potential in order to get a more affordable version of this console that can still play the games that you want to play. It's another PlayStation 5. It's another PlayStation 5, man.
I think for the pricing wise is we need to get a breakdown of the actual components and see how they stack up against the original build of the PS5.
I think we can probably do that. Give me a second here.
And if it has similar hardware in it, or even slightly better, then I think that price is warranted.
Oh, well, let's find out here. Garrett, I'd like to hear from you as I'm trying to find this here. Why is this asinine to you?
I mean, for similar reasons. Like when I originally read this article, I was just like, I don't understand. Like this is literally just this feels to me like we understand that some of you motherfuckers at home just, I don't know, you spend a lot of time looking at your PlayStation. I'm playing the fucking thing. I guess I'm doing it wrong. And this whole thing literally feels like this was done to just redesign it to get people to shut the fuck up about the fact that they didn't like the original design. And they were like, "Oh yeah," and like we want to be able to make like another quick buck on an accessory that's not necessarily even needed, right?
Sure.
Because like I don't like why, like I don't understand. At what point would you be like, "Fuck, man, I regret not buying that disk drive so bad," that you feel the need to literally go buy an extra component for your PlayStation, right? Because like if you want physical games, you're gonna buy the physical version of the PlayStation 5. You're not gonna buy the digital one and then add it on later. That shit makes no sense. Like, because I know for a fact that people are just like wanting to keep the physical game thing alive. Like they buy physical games. Devin.
What if you received a PS5 Slim discless version as a present or a gift?
Pause. Two things. Two things. One, firstly, let's just get this done and over with. Found confirmation here. This comes from trustedreviews.com. They have a comparison down the list of everything compared to the released PS5 versus the PS5 Slim. And I quote, "Other than the size, weight, storage, and detachable drive option, Sony isn't changing a winning formula. As far as we can tell right now, the specs are otherwise identical. Same GPU, same CPU, and RAM for starters. There's the same ports connectivity options, even the same NVMe slot for the expanding storage in today's announcement. However, we can't imagine that's gone by the wayside. The SSD speed is the same at 5.5 gigs per second read speeds. The disk drive still maxes out at 100 gigs per second. So it is the same, but
the only difference is it's confirmed 1 terabyte storage,
Mm-hmm.
and the base models had 825 gigabytes. So it's just 175 gigabyte difference.
Yes. Two. My second point here. The reason that I say pause is because to me, and just to make sure that people can see what the fuck we're talking about here, let's keep that up here. To me, if you ask me, this is PlayStation's preparation for Christmas time. That's what this is to me. Because they said, what if you all buy all the disc version of the PlayStation 5? Well, hey, you can still buy the digital version now and then tell your poor kids, hey, I was $80 too cheap to just buy this with it. So later, after Christmas is done, we can buy the hard drive that you want so bad. And then boom, you have a regular disc PS drive. That's what this speaks to me as. You know what I mean?
See, and that actually makes a ton of sense. And the reason it makes a ton of sense is because those motherfucking parents buying this shit don't care and don't fucking understand about like the actual console and its components and its hardware and how it fucking functions. Like, they're, for the most part, that's not happening. They're going out and they're just making a purchase for their fucking kid.
Right.
Pretty ill-informed.
Right.
And so, like, the kid's going to be like, but dad, but mom, I really wanted the one with this drive. And they're going to be like, we're sorry, Billy, you spoiled little shit. We'll go get you one after New Year.
Devin.
Those parents are our generation now.
That doesn't, dude. That doesn't mean
I feel
that
like
every
we're a
single
little bit
one of them
more
is a
informed.
technophile.
That's true.
I mean, it just like, I don't know, man. Like,
My wife is not tech savvy.
You know, the one thing I'm getting out of this that bugs me, if they were going to keep this price point for the Slim, then why not lower the original model that has been known to have some issues here and there?
Yeah, even by $50, right?
Yeah.
That's
By $50.
That's what should happen.
That's what I
Right?
mean, man. It's like
That's what should happen.
I hear we'd like to introduce the brand new PS5 Slim. And it comes up on the screen, right, where Squidward is. It comes up on the screen, you see it, and it says $299.99, right? For no hard drive, some lower specs, some cheaper specs, if you will. And maybe has like still the 1 terabyte in it, right? You just kind of sacrifice a little bit of gameplay. To me, that would make more sense. This bullshit here that you guys are seeing, Raven with the raid, hello.
Oh, hello.
Hey guys,
Welcome
what's
in.
popping in, everybody? We're talking shit about the PS5 Slim.
Yeah, we are.
This bullshit
We are.
you see over
We are
here,
totally talking shit.
guys, is what I think is the last hoorah from Jim Ryan deciding that Jim Ryan steps down. They said this is already in full fucking swing. There's no turning around on this fucking bus. You know what I mean? They said we got to put this out this way because this is the most Jim Ryan fucking thing I've ever heard of in my fucking life. He said, I'm going to give you a PS5 Slim and it's going to be the same fucking thing as the PS5 that you can readily purchase right now. That's what it says.
I think I'm going to double down on your this is Sony and PlayStation getting ready for the Christmas thing because now, right, Sony, like the PlayStation 5 has not notoriously been on any sale for Black Friday. Why?
Correct.
Because there's been a fucking stock problem, first off. But now the regular PlayStation 5 stock is stable. So, holidays rolling around, right? Brand spanking new shiny slim PlayStation 5 for all of those motherfuckers that want that new, right? And then you're just like, but hey, we didn't forget about you people that don't really give a shit about it being slim. And this Black Friday, we are gonna knock that $50 or $75 off of that original model PlayStation 5 and sell it to you at a discount this holiday season.
Yep.
I personally have been waiting for a Slim.
You have. And do you remember why you were waiting for a Slim, Devin? Because I remember verbatim what you said. What you said
I wanted
about
this.
wanting. You wanted a Slim. Yes, you wanted to get a Slim.
I wanted a smaller console. That's
you
what
wanted
I
a smaller
said.
console that was going to be what, Devin? Cheaper than the original. Because that's what we expect from a slim That's not to shit on Devin by any means whatsoever.
No, I wanted it not to be a briefcase.
Right, he did. But when we say slim, our immediate thought, for reasons that are historically proven, we think cheaper. It's cheaper because I'm getting less product, right? Physically, less product. It should be cheaper, right? It's not. It's not cheaper at all. It's like, hey, I have this $15,000 car, right? But if you can't afford that, I also have this $15,000 car, right? But this one
looks slightly older.
No. It's I have this $15,000 car. And I have this $14,500 car.
Yeah, and this one you can put leather seats in if you want.
Yeah,
we'll provide the leather seats for an additional $500. That's what they said. That's what PlayStation
600.
said. 600. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. This is fucking bullpucky. You know what I mean? This is just
it's gonna sell.
Oh my god!
It's gonna sell. It's gonna sell.
Dude. Like it's just insane.
You know what's gonna happen is everybody who's owned an Xbox or like just a Switch or just a PC is gonna see the slim model and be like, oh, that's smaller. I'm gonna get that now.
2 months or like a month from now, when this launches, my timeline is literally just going to be flooded with like, oh my god, the new PlayStation 5 Slim is so beautiful. It's such a good looking console.
Such a good console. Well, I'm sitting over here with my actually upgraded digital version of the Xbox. That's what everyone's going to be fucking talking about. Because that's the shit I'm going to buy this winter. I'll tell you that. That's the shit I'm going to spend my money on. Because they actually did it fucking. They said, we're going to give you what you had before, but three times better at the fucking better price point that you would expect for it. And lo behold, get on you, Xbox. Get on you.
That new Series X that they're coming out with is actually very tempting. Like very tempting.
The new Series S too, dude.
I've considered even to get the new S. The new S is appealing too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got more RAM.
Trade mine right in for it, dude. Yeah, man. Because that's what you're supposed to do this far into the life cycle of your brand new console.
Because it feels like feels like an upgrade. It's like trading in your phone.
Exactly. Imagine trading in your iPhone 12 for an iPhone 12s.
I think I'm going to keep my Series X though that I have already because it's got the Blu-ray drive and everything, and that is going to live in the living room now, right? That's going to live in the living room, and then I'm going to get myself a PS5 Slim.
Mostly just because I need you to get a PS5. I need you.
I've been waiting. Real. I've been waiting, and you know, I gotta meet Sony in the middle here. You know what I mean? They made the Slim, which I've been asking for like what, over a year now?
Years.
Yeah, for a couple years now. They finally made it. The price is there. It's whatever. We have things like Affirm.
We do, Devin. You're right. But speaking of affirming, Garrick, tell the people at home what we're doing next.
Absolutely. You guys are all headed where I'm headed, which is the fucking gallows.
Gallows. I mean, I'm already dead inside, so it's like we were already here.
That was fucking dark, man. That was dark as hell.
Yeah, we're already there.
I'm tired of being sick.
Guys, tonight for the Gallows, our headlining segment, we are getting a chance to have a fun little conversation here to celebrate Cracktober, which is our big time Halloween celebration where we spend all month talking about all the creepy dark stuff and evil that we love in this world because it's Halloween time and we like to celebrate that with you guys. So tonight we are talking about us making a horror game. If we ever did, what would our horror game be? Is what this is, okay? I know Garrick was a little confused by looking at the calendar because he has been out of the meetings recently. Fucking hate it. I hate it, but
dude,
I shall do.
It's so awful. I hate working on Saturdays.
That's okay. So what I want to do is start out easy here, all right? We know that the goal here is to make a horror game, Us three are the directors of said horror game, which is a fucking bad idea. You should never have 3 directors for one game. That's a fucking terrible idea.
Wait. Who's the writer? Who's the director? And who's the producer?
Yes.
That's what we should clarify right now.
Yes. Okay. All right.
I like that. Great answer.
Yes. Let's. All
right, Ernell's the director.
Okay, fine. I'll be the director here. Okay, I'll be the director. I think Garrick's writer and Devin's producer.
Okay.
Executive producer. I like that. So
Sure.
Okay.
So, anyways, let's continue on here. So let's start with this.
Wait. Vandal, a 37-minute indie game of color negative Ernell saying the word ill unironically.
Never mind. I'm not gonna go there. What is the name of our character, our protagonist, our survivor?
Wait. What?
So let's build the world. Can we?
Let's
You
build
want to
the
start with the
world
world?
first.
We want to start with the world?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's choose our setting. Choose our setting first.
Okay. So let's discuss it then. So what is our setting of choice here?
Okay. So I'm gonna throw some options out as producer. Okay.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Post-apocalyptic. Modern poltergeist. Medieval.
Okay.
Sci-fi. Let's choose between those 4.
Garrick, the writer. Which one of these are you leaning into?
Let's do. Let's do medieval.
Medieval. Okay.
Medieval
Okay.
horror. Wow.
Okay.
I feel like
All right.
that's not. I feel like there's like a lot of gothic horror like stuff, and I feel like that's kind of classic. But as far as like modern horror stuff goes, that's not really delved into to tell him unless it's like ironically like Ash versus Evil Dead and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that'd be kind of cool.
Okay. With that being said, do we want this to be high fantasy or realism horror? Do we want vampires, werewolves, or
so that's 2 questions. Let's start with what kind of horror we want. Do we want this
So we like-
slapstick?
More realistic or versus like something more fantastical.
Right.
I feel like if we go fantastical, that's almost
Fantastical gives us more options.
yeah, it's like an action horror survival type of deal with many different types of things. Is what it like. Imagine like almost kind of like Witcher, but not being a Witcher. You know, more like let's. Ooh,
So Elden Ring.
hear me out. Hear me out.
That
Hear me out.
That did spark
Hear
an
me
idea.
out.
I want to hear your idea first, though.
Dead Space style gameplay, like that
Okay.
over the shoulder
Okay.
kind of
okay,
thing.
Okay. You're talking to me. You're
High
speaking to me here. Go
fantasy,
ahead.
high fantasy, right?
Okay.
And you have to deal with vampires, werewolves, other like
So a Van Helsing?
kind of,
me out.
but like I think like Castlevania monsters.
Okay, Garrick, our writer, said "hear me out." So that's
Okay.
important writer's term is "hear me out" here.
Yeah.
Okay, so go
So-
ahead, sir.
What if we flipped the perspective?
Not enough budget.
And-
Not enough budget.
We wrote it from the perspective that like we are like the player character is the creature.
Ooh. Okay.
So
Okay.
then,
And
How about we're a werewolf?
well, is that what we want to do? The werewolf game?
that could be kind of cool if you look at it from the perspective of like it could be like a psychological horror because you could take the story in a way that like the individual doesn't necessarily know that they're like a werewolf, right? Or like the individual does know, but it's something that they combat, right? Or like they're hunting versus like hunted.
Director. He's got something.
I've got something for you. I got a pitch for you here. Okay, hear me out. We're still hunting monsters. Okay, here, just work with my vision here. Okay, Medieval times, gothic
Be
horror.
the monster to hunt the
We
monster.
are the
Yes!
monster haunting the monsters. Okay?
Yes.
Frankenstein hunts the other creatures. We have Frankenstein's Van
Hey,
Helsing story.
yo,
You know what I'm saying?
okay, all right.
You know
So
what I'm
we're
saying?
taking the I Frankenstein script and we're making it not shit.
Right. Thank you. And this Frankenstein doesn't have to be like, like the Frankenstein like we do. Our Frankenstein
No,
can
we
look
can
whatever
modernize
fucking
it.
way we want to, right? They turned Pinocchio into this fucking badass kid in Liza P. We can do the same with fucking Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Devin, do we
Yeah,
have budget
Frankenstein's
for a
monster could be way
Frankenstein
cool.
protagonist?
Yeah, yes, we do.
Okay,
It actually requires less animation than a werewolf because then you don't have to turn from human to werewolf.
Perfect. I'm
true.
glad. We can fit that into our budget. Great. Thank you, sir. Okay, so Garrett.
Also, as executive producer, I'm still taking the stance. I want this third person like survival ish like Dead Space kind of view.
Yes, yeah, 100%. I can agree. I can agree with that. Devin, as our executive producer, who are you casting as Frankenstein?
Ooh, who am I casting as Frankenstein?
Sorry, Frankenstein's monster, which I guess is
Now it's gonna be like,
yeah,
I'm,
for all-
I'm gonna make you fix
Let
that.
me
Of course,
let me see this. I want Frankenstein, who makes the monster. I want it to be Mads Mikkelsen.
I mean, it's got to be Aaron Eckhart from I Frankenstein, right?
I like that. Okay.
Mads
Although
Mikkelsen
Mikkelsen's a good choice.
Yes.
as Frankenstein, right? Now, as the monster, I say we pretty boy it up, right?
Oh,
So then
okay.
he has this struggle with, am I human or am I a monster, right? Because there's a subplot love story, right?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Like that's Frankenstein's monster main thing. God, I have to look up the actor's name. We know and love him.
Of course. We wouldn't cast anybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Alan Rickson.
Alan
Alan Richson. Alan
Yeah.
Richson.
Yes, sir. I do like that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. You'd have to probably. You'd have to probably take like because like we're not like we're doing like the prettier protagonist approach, right?
He is
but we
pretty
still
and
have to
jacked.
he is, and he's
Very much
huge,
beautiful ass man. Yes.
Like we would have to do like I think we'd have to do some like scarring and stuff on like
Oh,
his character
absolutely.
design and body,
Absolutely.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
To
he's
fit- he's
be
a
like,
monster
like
that's
ruggedly handsome like that,
Yeah.
like the pretty but kind of scary.
Like give him some like longer hair that like almost goes down to like mid neck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
like
ruffled
like
ear.
the kind of like give him like almost like the Michael look from Underworld.
Yeah.
Yes, I do like that, but with far more scars. Like, what if
Yeah.
what if our Frankenstein's monster wasn't like put together via body parts? What if he was put together via the skin of other creatures and people on the same body?
And it
So he's just,
it was like
reanimated and
like
repaired.
he was who he was.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And he was reanimated and repaired. And the subplot love story is him trying to save his love from a vampire, i.e. Dracula.
Well, so let's dig into that, right? So two things. Garrick, one, what is our Frankenstein's monster's name? And then two, how do we get him out? How do we transition him out of being Frankenstein's monster to now hunting the monsters?
I just had an idea.
Okay.
What if it doesn't have to be exactly Dracula, but what if it's also a revenge story that he was killed by the vampire who lusted for the love of his life, and then as he is,
Classic, really.
and then what if Frankenstein created him to fight back against monsters, dark creatures, hellspawn, vampires, and stuff like that because they become more abundant?
I
think it'd be a little bit more interesting if we took. I like that whole first half, like really like that. But if we take, I think we should take it from the perspective of like he is saved and like reanimated by like Frankenstein, but Frankenstein is like a very enigmatic individual. Like there was no previous connection, right? And we'll kind of take the perspective, like, even though Frankenstein's monster is propelling himself forward with revenge, like Frankenstein himself actually reanimated and brought him back to life for his own devices.
Yeah.
Right. And he's trying to returning to his own humanity versus like maintaining his new existence, and like uncovering what that means to him and like why he was created,
uncovering his humanity. Yeah. I have an idea for how Frankenstein found him too. What if the town or village that he resided in was wiped out, and Frankenstein went there after the aftermath looking for subjects to work on?
I've got a way
hero of happenstance, if you will.
I've got a way that we can move those puzzle pieces a little bit differently to accommodate for all corners of this story we're putting together, right? So I want to say that if we do a love story and revenge story, we got to pick a struggle here, right? Because that's too many B plots to go on. So what if we made the love part of this as a sort of projector for the revenge, right? So what if our guy, Garrett, do you have a name for our protagonist?
I was trying to think about that, and I don't know that I necessarily have like any sort of like particularly strong name. I think we would have to think about
Chad Tholomew,
because we would have to. We would be considering the fact that like our protagonist was like dead essentially, right, when Frankenstein found them.
So this is why I ask, right? It's mostly just so we can kind of connect to the character, right? So my thought process is character Frankenstein's monster, right? Let's just, I don't know. I picture Ulrich is what came to my mind. So I'll just say Christian, right? I'll just say.
I was just thinking, when it comes to names, what country of origin is this going to be taking in place of?
I think it has to be Romania, doesn't it? I mean, is that like? I guess it doesn't necessarily have to, but I would imagine Eastern Europe, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, Mary Shelley's like Frankenstein takes place in Switzerland, so we could probably pick.
His name's William. William. William.
Ooh, William's kind of a classic, honestly.
A good.
That's
start.
like a good classic European name. You can't really fuck that up.
And we can just use that as a placeholder now for two.
We can figure out like a last name for him later. That's more
add some flair.
Yeah.
So hear me out, right? So Willy Boy, in my director's mind, I'm picturing this here. Okay, I'm picturing this. Willy Boy, William, has been married to his love Rose for 18 years, right? They've been together since they were kids. They've been together living in this small, quaint village that one day is massacred by Dracula. Absolutely fucking slaughtered by Dracula. And the last thing William remembers before bleeding out in the middle of the courtyard of his village is Dracula grasping his love Rose and flying off with her into the night, right? He wakes up, now pieced together by Frankenstein himself, awakens, and Frankenstein gives him this, whole introduction. This is what's going on. I'm sorry. Like, I had to try to keep you alive. You're one of my experience. This is what I need from you. He says, I need you to go and hunt down Dracula. I need you to find these creatures because Dracula has done something terrible to me and he's done something terrible to you. So we both have a common interest here, right? Ooh. And the big plot twist at the end, here's what I'm thinking, right? You find out Rose has been dead since the day of the attack. And Frankenstein used her as the fuel to get William to do what he wanted him to do.
Or she's a vampire already.
She's a vampire. Oh,
yeah, she was turned.
She was turned, and she's the boss you fight right before.
Yeah, that's
Dracula.
Like it's your decision time, right?
Also,
spare sacrifice.
Frankenstein. Let's get even better on this. Frankenstein used to be Dracula's forge master and used to make all his creatures for him.
I like that.
Right, and Dracula makes sense as an antagonist perspective too, because he has enough influence to be able to like control other like monsters, right?
Right. Well, and that's the beauty of this, looking at it from a game perspective too, because we can look at inserting any sort of gothic mythological creature in this sense
Yeah.
as a boss, another boss and or enemy in the game, right? So Frankenstein has to get through a massive werewolf as the first boss.
And it's so cool because we could just do like some cool twists on like classic monsters, like create like right, and like we could even do like some parallel things where like where William, our Frankenstein's monster, has to fight some like other creatures that are artificial, right? That are like not quite human, you like golems and things, right?
Yeah.
Like things that were meant to be like artificial humans, and so like
that's
that would
Dracula's
kind of
castle. That's Dracula's castle because Frankenstein
that's-
used to work there.
exactly, and so
boys.
like there's this connection there. I think this would be really. So one thing I wanted to like visit real quick is how does William combat the threats, the monster
That's a good.
threats?
That's a good point. That what is his weapon and fighting style, right?
Yeah, like,
Devin,
how does he
producer.
fight?
How do you imagine this?
I am imagining a sort of a combination of crossbows, swords, axes. I think an axe is going to be Frankenstein's main weapon. I think this is going to be an axe game.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I picture something similar.
Yeah.
I picture instead
I
of a
definitely
massive
picture something on the
axe-
heavier side.
Yeah.
To me, I picture instead of a massive axe, I picture
What if he was a blacksmith before,
Uh-huh.
a hammer.
like he
Like an
he was the
hammer.
village
I mean,
blacksmith. Okay,
but
okay.
they'll have like all the other kind of weapons in the game, right? Because that's kind of like in a Dead Space game, you can cycle through different kinds of weapons that do different things.
So you
right?
want like a Devil May Cry sort of situation where you're finding
but
different
not
types
that
of
kind of
weapons.
gameplay. Yes,
Yeah,
but not.
the different weapon utilizations
Yeah.
in combat, right? Okay. Okay. So he starts with
questions.
his hammer. Is that where we're getting at? The signature hammer?
Either that or an axe. I feel like one or the other. Because think about it, he's already going to be dead. He's going to get dragged to Frankenstein's laboratory and created. So it's going to be whatever's available there.
Because I think
yeah.
if we really
I
want to
think
make
the
this a
hammer
castle,
would be like an iconic grab, like as
Yeah.
we pass through the remains of our village on the way to like
right?
Dracula's
He
castle,
he
right?
he leaves
We-
Frankenstein's laboratory, goes back to the village, and finds his hammer there.
Yeah,
and
reclaim
that
it.
is sort of our first opening weapon to the rest of this. Because if we really want to make this Castlevania as fuck, right? Castlevania
they
/
can-
Van Helsing ish.
yes.
He's getting weapons from bosses, right? So we can have a werewolf
Yes.
that has a massive axe that he does get at some point.
Yeah.
Well, I was even gonna say like we can take like the horror action, like so because we're leaning into that
Right,
anyways,
right.
And we take the perspective of like as we progress, you get a weapon, and that weapon is like what is used to combat the next boss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, like
kinda
or,
like the
Legend of
original-
Zelda, Resident Evil, right? Like you would
yeah,
hit
like-
the thing, and then you would have to use the thing.
Like the original God of War games.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
first three.
Yeah. That weapon you get is going to be the best weapon
It'll
you
be
can
a
utilize
gimmick
the
for that
area.
next encounter.
Yep.
Mhm.
But you can
Yep.
still use the others as well if you so
Yeah, you
please,
could
right?
cycle. You could cycle
Right.
through. Let's
Right.
say you could have 4 equipped at once.
I
You
like
know what
that.
I mean?
I like that.
And you use the D-pad to cycle between them.
Like
Sure.
the weapons.
Sure, I do like
Yeah.
that. I do like that. Okay. So how many different environments, Garrick, are we wanting to have William travel through to get to the goal of Dracula's castle and then Dracula at the end, right? So are we talking like forests to fight the werewolves? Like, actually, let me go with this too.
I have an idea. I have an
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, I was
as
thinking,
executive
like-
producer here.
Right out of the gate, like we're starting in like your mad scientist laboratory, right? Like that's going to be like our tutorial area, right? And then like, but his laboratory is not. It's not in the middle of like a city or anything. It's like it's way out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere because
Yeah.
he's keeping it secret, right? And then you've got, I would say like your initial environment would be like
A forest.
a haunted woods sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I would actually not introduce like your werewolf thing like initially there. Like I would actually make the werewolf like a more. I'd maybe like do some like werewolf
Zombies.
lurking in the trees sort of
I
thing.
think-
I actually think we even go straight up down and like the woods themselves are the fucking enemy.
Ooh.
Okay.
So it'll be full of like giant spiders and like different creatures
And like the
wolves
trees
and,
will
and ants.
physically be attacking you. Like it's like
Ooh.
right, like it's like the
Yeah.
environment. Like let's really play up the environment and like the environment as much of a threat as like your enemies. Right, like your head's on a swivel at all times. Like this is a perilous medieval like high fantasy Europe. Like imagine all of your Brothers Grimm's fairy tales sort of things just kind of shoved in.
Well, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at now, is kind of taking a peek at like what are some iconic creatures that we know of from Van Helsing, right? So we have Frankenstein's monster, which is a big one. Werewolves, lycanthropes, more specifically.
I have an idea.
Devin, let me get through one thing really quick. Okay, I know you're excited. It's a dope game. It's a dope fucking game. We also have the equivalent of succubuses, right? Because the flying woman bat creature thing, right? Mm-hmm. We also have where to go? Dr.
Are those
Jekyll.
harpies? Do they call those harpies in
They're
Van Helsing?
technically
I'm
harpies,
pretty sure they're harpies.
if I remember correctly. Yeah. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is another interesting thing.
I have an
there.
idea.
That could be
Can
so
I have
cool
an idea?
because Dr. Jekyll could actually be your ally, and you don't know that he's Hyde.
Devin.
Yeah. I was gonna say that, and I was gonna say we should put a couple cities in the game as well that you go that you travel through, and one of the cities in particular that will be your boss, and maybe like halfway point in the game, you know.
Yeah.
But I want to say, what if Van Helsing is like your companion who shows up every now and then, but like doesn't travel with you, but like disappears, but like comes and like gives you gifts or like, you know, hey, keep up the good work, like type of deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
You know, like
your
how
point of
like
contact sort of character.
like how Ada is for Leon in Resident Evil 4. You know what I'm saying here. And let's change Helsing. Let's make Helsing female in this.
Well, yeah. So I mean, like that really kind of depends on how we want to go about this. Or do we want this to be a what if Van Helsing was the monster of Frankenstein, or we want to just do this as the monster of Frankenstein?
The monster
and
of
Van Helsing's
Frankenstein.
in this world. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And let's here.
Yeah, and let's have Helsing be a female in this one too, just to like change it up, you know.
Okay, I like that. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we have a good handful of places, the cities that William can go to, different creatures that he can fight. I do like the idea of the Dr. Jekyll being a friendly that you meet halfway through the game, and then as you like go and do missions in that
some
area,
Dark Souls shit.
You're like trying to solve this like mystery, and then at the end of this, you find out he's Mr. Hyde, and so you have to have a throw down with your friend. That's
I see this being like a chapter game.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. I'd say like a good 5 or 6 different places.
I was thinking 6.
Including Dracula's castle, right?
Yeah, final. Yep.
I just thought of something so cool for one of the cities.
Okay.
One of the bosses. You said solving a mystery.
Yes.
What if Jack the Ripper is one of the people you fight?
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That would be cool. As like sort of I like that as a really cool sort of
like a side quest
mission line. Yeah, like that would be fucking like keeping it in that sort of like level of like Assassin's Creed historical accuracy. We're in this world, we're in this like age. It would make sense for this to kind of exist, you know, in line with that too. That's fucking dope. That's a dope idea. I like that. Okay. So what about this makes it horror? That's the question that's popping up in my brain as we come to an end here, right? What about this game makes it horror rather than just an action adventure game, right? How can we make this horrifying?
It's the horror element. It can have jump scares. Let's say there's a part where you come across a witch's house. You're in a witch's house and she's fucking with you.
Sure.
How cool would it be when you fight Dracula? he's multi-staged and he brings you down to hell. You know what I
Something
mean?
like that.
Stuff
That
like
could be
that.
cool. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there could be jump scare cinematic moments in a lot of areas too. I think you know how like Resident Evil Village is a
Over the
horror
shoulder. Yeah.
action
Right.
game,
Right.
you know, or Resident Evil 4 remake. It can have all that same kind of feel.
Because to
Yeah.
me, I picture a little bit of a sense of like that one level of God of War where it's like super dark and fucked up.
I
Uh-huh.
have a game came to mind like
Okay.
almost immediately
Okay.
as
Okay.
like we were bringing. So 20, I think it was like 2016, 2018.
Okay.
Vampire, right?
Oh.
We're like,
Yes. Yes.
right,
Yes.
we're
Yes.
like the it's like we're leaning into that like your humanity being at stake is what's terrifying here. The loss of your humanity, right? Like he was
Right.
once human, now no longer. He's something less than human, more than human. He doesn't know, right? And let's say like if we're going to be visiting like these iconic locations, obviously we're doing Jack the Ripper, we're going to Whitechapel, we're going to London.
Yeah.
Like maybe not open world, but these need to be populated sections,
Yeah.
right? And there
Right.
needs
Right.
to
Right.
be
Right.
civilians here. And when you are like traversing these towns, right? Like you're a scarred up, terrifying individual, right? Like you need
Right. Right.
right? Like you are a monster hunting the monster. You look something other than human. And so like there's gonna be like this kind of horror stealth mechanic while we're in these cities, right? Where like we need to keep our profile low while we're hunting our target, right? Or our targets, like if we're doing side quests, right? And we're tracking down these monsters, and we're also trying not to make like our own presence known in the city while being able to do the deed, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
like we're
Sure.
we're a hero, but we're a reluctant, unwanted hero, right?
Yeah,
Like
what do you-
we
what does
want to
he-
do the good deed,
You
but
have
the
to wear, like, a
civilians
cloak
don't want us.
when you're in
Yeah,
the- you
like
have
we
to-
got to cloak up, right? And like we need to be careful and so like the choices we make, right? Because we were dead, and so I just imagine that like there's like you were dead and you came back to life. Like that has to have like some sort of repercussion on the human soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I right? From
Sure.
a storytelling standpoint, from a fantastical standpoint. And so like as he's hunting these monsters, he's going to be pressed with situations where he's going to be like, do I let that monster kill that civilian so I have the opportunity to finish the job? Right?
Yeah.
It's like, do I give into that monsterly instinct for the sake of the greater good? Or do I try to save that person and take the Paragon route and maintain my humanity at the risk of like ousting myself to the entire city, and now I'm being hunted by the city.
Okay.
Should there
okay.
be a mechanic where you sometimes lose control and become more monster than your humanity? Like at certain points in the game?
If you
know?
like take enough damage, he kind of loses control of himself a little bit. I think that's kind of a cool idea.
Something along the lines of like that, or like if you've made like X number of choices that lean one direction or another, it puts your character at risk for like a freak out, right?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like kind of like hulking out type
Exactly,
of, yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
like so giving it like that choice based thing, we're just like we're like it, giving those RP elements and those RPG elements where like you have to actively choose, like, do you want your William to give in to the monster, to be the monster, or does he or maintain his humanity at all times? Because like obviously, right, if you're giving into the monster, like, and you have to balance it, right? So like maintaining your humanity is going to give you things like the ability to more readily converse with like civilians, right? Like without scaring them. But like the more monstrous activities you gain, right? Like sure, like William will become exponentially more powerful. You're giving into like that bestial monstrous side.
Right.
But like the human in him will degrade, right? So like he'll be less skillful at conversing, he'll be more easy to bloodlust, easier to anger, and that sort of thing. And that's what like we would have to build in like a very dialogue, like atmospheric tension to the game.
This also kind of brought up because I don't know why my brain went here in this direction, right? Because now we're talking like a little bit more interactivity with the people of this universe, right? A little people that he's coming across by. He could potentially be asking these people for clues in order to find, like The Witcher. You're trying to gather information to get to that next target, right? And he knows that that's what he's trying to do. My brain took me this direction of like, what if we really leaned into the Jack the Ripper thing and said that there's even more historical people that we run into, a la a Sherlock Holmes, if you will, and not even just like actual real life people, but more characters from a sort of like Victorian England sort of setting, because we have things like that. We have Jack the Ripper. We talked about Dr.
The
Jekyll
Telltale
and Mr.
Heart
Hyde.
is now a side quest, right?
Edgar Allan
Like,
Poe, exactly. Right. Ebenezer Scrooge is something we could do for the fucking shits and giggles of it.
That would be a good like little like
dude, like
Easter
some
egg.
spooky ass Christmas
Yeah, with like some
DLC.
like that could be like a poltergeist where you're dealing with like a demonic
Ghosts
like
of Christmas
poltergeist.
Present Past. Like, yeah,
I mean,
dude,
ghosts are a Van Helsing creature, so like there is a whole ghost segment that we'll have to do in this too, man.
Yeah.
This is
and throw witches, guys. I think we're onto something.
I think we're onto something too, dude. This is fucking rad, man. This is a fucking rad game we're making, dude. I want this to be real.
Okay. What studio are we making this with?
Insomniac. Hear me out. Insomniac.
But I say it's got to be somebody with good storytelling chops.
You think Insomniac?
I might rescind that, but give me a second here. Because I see potential that, who was it? I think, okay, and here's why, right? Because you're going to see some connections here. Ready at Dawn, because of their work on The Order 1886.
Ooh, that's a good choice.
Because that is a game that should have been more if they had the time to make it
if they
more.
would have had the time.
And this
like
could be that
DLC.
game. You know what I mean? This could be that game that puts them back onto it. Because that would be sick. And Sony Santa Monica had a hand in The Order as well. And we've seen they can obviously make a fucking stellar game. Who do you think, Eric?
I actually think with the way that we've kind of depicted like the relations with the characters and how we want to have like these figures involved, I'm thinking that like maybe Telltale Games.
Oh, you want this to be more narrative driven.
That'll be a little too.
Would that be too? Would that narrow it down too much?
I think that might narrow it down too much.
Yeah,
I might agree. Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
A Naughty Dog also came to mind.
Remedy
would be fun.
Control was great. Alan Wake is great. Alan Wake 2 looks great.
Remedy could be.
Remedy could be a good one, actually.
Their narrative
really,
is
really
really
good,
good, and their action is really good as well.
I like Remedy, but I'm going
They
to.
know horror. They just do.
I'm gonna see your Remedy and raise you Respawn.
I was about to say I have. Oh, so you were gonna say Respawn, and I was gonna say Tango Gameworks.
Ooh, Tango would be crushing.
dope.
Yeah, let's go with Tango. Because if we do Tango, that means you get Microsoft money. Executive producer here, Microsoft money.
Oh man, God, I had Ninja Theory.
What was the lot? Oh, they're working on
Hellblade,
Senua.
dude. Hellblade graphics on this game.
would be fucking bonkers.
Oh
dude.
my God. As a horror third person over the shoulder experience, dude. Listen, I know that we haven't experienced Hellblade Senua's Saga yet, but we already know that we're going to play that game. But what the fuck are we watching right now? Like, holy shit, dude.
Look at the water, dude.
Look at
I
the water,
think-
man.
I have a name
Okay.
For the
our
game?
Okay.
Perfect. You're the writer.
Okay,
Let's hear
Let's
it.
do it. Let's hear it. Yes.
So because we've pretty much covered everything else, right? We need to sell this bitch, and to sell this bitch has got to have a cool name. And what would be a cooler name for a horror action, like a horror action RPG, third person RPG, starring Frankenstein's monster than Simulacrum?
Simulacrum?
That's a pretty fucking dope
It's
name.
Simulacrum it's something that it represents or is an imitation of a person or thing. It's an artificial.
That's a pretty dope fucking name, my friend. That's a pretty dope fucking name. Oh my God. Guys, we're going to send this episode to Respawn. And say, listen, for a small...
Respawn?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Ninja Theory. Excuse me. Ninja Theory. And just be like, for a small amount of $3 million, we'll sell this to you. We'll sell. Actually, we're worth more than that. For a small amount of $9 million.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got to make 3 mil each,
$3 million each. Yeah, exactly.
or like 2 mil each, and then put the rest in the GK bank.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's our studio. There's our studio.
There you go. And we'll fly everyone here to live here. We'll pay
Yep.
for your home in Portland, Garrick. We'll pay off.
Also, no, he's getting 3 million. He can figure that
You can
out.
buy his own house. That's fair.
Actually, he's gonna get 2 mil because we're gonna put 3 of that mil in the GK bank, and that's what's gonna be used to get everybody else moved out here.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Hey, Wheat Bread in chat. Damn, are you boys today's date? Because y'all are 10 out of 10.
We love you, Brad. We love you, dog. We also love our new game, Simulacrum, which is going to be coming to you guys in the next 10 years. I promise you. It'll be a good time. But we also, in sooner than 10 years, we have our schedule for the rest of this week. On Thursday, we have another Shipwreck show. And as you guys know already, if you are in our Discord and you are just Twitch subscriber, you can join our Shipwreck Submissions channel in there. We can ask us any question you want, especially Halloween and creepy stories, because we like those during Cracktober. And we will pick your questions that we think will make for the best content, and we'll answer them terribly on the show for you guys live at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Please join us for that. It's a good one. And then this Friday, excuse me, I had a burp. Me, Garrick, and DJ are going to be hopping back into Redfall. So they released a new update, and we want to see if that update is worth a fucking damn. So we're going to be going in there, finding out some more information for you. Garrick's actually been playing it a little bit since it has rolled out, but me and DJ have to find out for ourselves next. It's going to be a good time. So that'll be here for you guys on Friday night. And then this Saturday, we have another Good Kraken podcast where this time we're going to be having our Battle of the Horror Baddies. That's right, a 16-part bracket that we are going to be putting together for you guys to help us figure out which baddie is the ultimate horror movie baddie. And then when we have categories for it too, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time, guys. Do not miss out on that. In the meantime, let us know if you think that you would buy Simulacrum, the new hit game from Ninja Theory. Is going to be owned by me, Devin, and Garrick. It's going to be a great time. Let us know if you guys think that we're out of our fucking minds. We like to hear from you guys. Tell us on Twitter. Tell us in the comments below. Tell us in our Discord. And fuck off, because you're going to want that game real bad here in 10 years. I promise you. Anyways, this has been the Good Kraken podcast. Your choice for all the nerdy video game and pop top media news, reviews, and discussions that you wanted to hear. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 12 p.m. right here at twitch.tv/Good Kraken Show. If you're on this wave, you can head on over to our Discord channel where you can submit questions and topics of the show, get exclusive content, and soon have early access to episodes before they go live on podcasts and video services across the digital sea. Yarg. Thank you, sir. You can also support us by going to our YouTube channel, clicking that beautiful bell and bit grab button. Kind of rolled off the tongue a little bit weird there. Or by searching Good Kraken with an exclamation mark and leaving a review there. Review. We have to get going, everybody. But until next time, my friends, bye, simulacrum.